Greetings, welcome back to Black Bear News, where we are discussing climate change, abrupt climate change, and things adjacent. As you see, I don't have my usual background. I am still currently out of state. I'm in Detroit. Um, but I'm heading back to Los Angeles tomorrow, and I should be able to resume my regular videos tomorrow evening. But it's been a couple days since I posted anything, so I just kind of wanted to get back to it while I had a couple of minutes free. So I left you guys with a couple of videos that I posted, I believe, on Tuesday. And the funny thing is that so once in a while YouTube will slow down your monetization if they think that your content is, a little crazy or a little out there. Hold for Chopper Bunch. Yeah, mighty, and followed by cop sirens. So yeah, it's the Cinco de Mayo in Detroit, and people are partying. Um, that's what's happening. Anyway, so back to what I was saying. The videos I posted. Um, every once in a while, YouTube will slow down the monetization for the videos if they think the content is not appropriate. So one of the videos uh, dealt with taking down or openly confronting um, the current paradigm or industrial civilization or the economic status as is currently enjoyed by all. That video did not get slowed down, but the other video saying that Earth was on suicide watch, that one got slowed down. So whatever. I requested a review. Usually they'll put it back on green, which means it's fully monetized. Um, Once I request a review, because they see that it's ridiculous. Whatever, for whatever reason they're slowing it down. I don't know. Anyways, so I'm not going to make this video too long. Just want to cover a couple of things. I wanted to start with a comment from Marty McCorkle. And where is your comment, Marty? Here it is. In response, I think, to the video that was titled "Other Roads to Resistance." Marty says, "I don't get this angle. A few weeks ago, Kevin read someone's response to my suggestion that we speak openly and freely about climate change. Instead of reading my wonderful comment, Kevin read someone's response who suggested we need to be dainty with the dainty and not step on any feet, talking about climate change openly and freely with the many not ready Freddies. Sorry, that's just wrong, but now you toy with the ideas of violence, credit collapse actions, or sabotage. How about some baby steps before going big time, Bonnies and Clydes? If you closet cases can't talk about climate change to just about anyone you come across, sliding it into a conversation the way a salesperson slides his pitch in, where do you get off talking about more aggressive approaches? Start talking, then start doing. If you can't even talk about climate change with your family and friends without waiting for the right moment, maybe in a few years, or the right time, perhaps just before our extinction, how can you speak of greater actions? It's just fantasy, castles in the sky, ungrounded. Begin by engaging people in your life regularly in the most important conversation ever, namely the end of industrial civilization, with the end of the biosphere thrown in free, with no extra charge. Get called militant or be accused of having a one-track mind or of being obsessed, then start talking about bigger action. If you can't cast a shadow in the everyday world as climate-aware person, but rely on a second online identity to do so, fix that. I believe you're talking about me, Marty. You are going to turn some people off. You will also turn some people on. Some will declare, "You too? Me too. I worry for this planet." Let them know you in real life. Harvey Milk asked every gay man and woman to come out as gay because he knew you can't make changes to society from inside of a closet. Come out as climate aware, then act. Overdo coming out by miles, but come out. Does your family think about climate change? No, for sure. Come out as a climate aware. As climate aware, and a climate aware. That's what I am, a climate aware. And ask that person what they think about climate change and what they think they should do about it. Get the conversation up and running, and as gently as necessary, or as coyly as a snake, but get it going. Many people are climate change aware, but the bully denier culture makes open conversation about climate facts seem weird, unnatural, and difficult. Silence is death, or at least isolation. And when you come across the occasional climate change denier, scrape it off your flip-flop and go forward. Associate your identity with those who want to prepare for the effects of climate change that will likely destroy industrial civilization with unusual severity. Be history here and now by gabbing about climate change casually until your tongue is sunburned. Sorry, you can't have further action on climate change when the first action, the action of conversation, has not yet happened. Start the biggest ever conversation, folks. Then go from there. Excuse me. And good for you, old-timer climate change conversationalists. I'm not. I'm a new convert and spark enough to catch a curtain or tool shed on fire. Come out. Climate change closet cases. We can't fix climate change, but we can prepare for it and make hell for politicians who are too dainty or denialist to help us prepare. Denialists don't have the numbers on their side, but they hold many people's tongues. And so I agree with you, Marty. I've read some of Marty's comments before. I rather like his commentary on this channel. I think the comment he was referring to that I read that was in response to his comment was something about the fact that you can't necessarily, some people you can't, you don't want to burden them with the reality, and it's like difficult to talk with children. And I think that you should be balanced and cautious with certain people. Other people, not so much. Look, I try to bring it up with the people that I think can handle it. With the people that I think I have no idea where, I'll make a little inroads. Like if I have no idea what somebody thinks about climate change, I'll kind of make some steps in and see how far along they are in the process of realization, and then, by that, I will gauge how deeply into the conversation I will get. You have to kind of take it on a case-by-case basis. You have to be, you have to be sensitive to some people and not so sensitive to others. I mean, it's, climate change is just, for one thing, the reality of the problem is pretty brutal. And people are getting it. More and more people are getting it. And I mean, I'm beginning to start seeing people just coming out about it on Facebook. Regular people, not, not the people that have been climate activists or have known about this for years. Like regular ass people are like, yeah, so this climate change is pretty bad. So it's beginning to grab a segment of the population that it hadn't grabbed before, and it's becoming all pervasive. And as I have said, in the UK, their knowledge of climate change is going exponential. If you don't know about climate change or are still a denier in the UK, you are definitely in a very, very small minority. Not so much in the US, but that tide is changing. People are becoming aware. They just passed the first climate bill in many years in the House, and so things are progressing. Awareness is progressing. Knowledge is progressing. What are we going to do? The political action is progressing. I'm just talking about, the thing is this is a news channel talking about all the aspects of climate change, and there are many aspects of climate change. So, there are people that you don't necessarily want to talk about climate change with. There are other subjects about how to take action, or in what ways should you take action. People debating whether it's nonviolence versus violence, or, I'm just covering different, I'm covering different views, different opinions, different ideas. That's what I'm doing here. I'm presenting things for consideration. So, you know, just try to take that into consideration when you're leaving a comment. Like, oh my God, you're promoting violence. No, I'm not promoting violence. I'm promoting the idea of possible defense in the face of violence and in the face of overwhelming violence. That's totally different from saying go out and kick ass. And I don't necessarily promote violence. I'm saying but it's out there. It's a road. It's a way. It's a path. It's one tool in many tools. Nonviolence is another tool in many tools. So just try to understand that, like when I'm talking about stuff on this channel, see, this goes back to the whole like extremist, reactionary, emotional response, conspiracy versus non-conspiracy, liberal versus alt-right, like all this like knee-jerk, like, oh my God, you can't possibly say that. Like the thing is that people are so emotional about their silos of thought, about their opinions, or their take on everything, that they think that if you're just talking about something that you're promoting it. And that's not necessarily the idea. That's not necessarily true. You can talk about an idea. You can kick an idea around. You can consider an idea. That doesn't mean that you promote it or totally believe in it. So, I like this comment. I enjoy this comment. I agree with this comment. But at the same time, the comment, seems to suggest that I'm promoting violence or I'm talking about violence. I'm not promoting violence. I'm talking about it as one in many ways in which people can take action, or maybe feel like action should be taken. If I'm saying the same thing twice, I don't know. I like to do that. Anyways, ramble. So Cyclone Fani did a lot of damage over the weekend in India. Cyclone Fani left a massive trail of destruction in its wake, knocking out power, shredding roofs, and leaving hundreds of thousands of homeless. After slamming into eastern India with winds of 125 miles per hour, officials said the death toll, which reached 33 as of Sunday, would have been much higher if there hadn't been a major evacuation days before the storm made landfall. Still, the cyclone created scenes of devastation across Odisha, the Indian coastal state that is home to 46 million people. In the seaside town of Puri, which was in the path of Fani, the cyclone's winds tore off roofs, uprooted trees, and snapped power lines, according to Reuters. The cyclone leveled more than 1,000 homes, reports the BBC. So, the cyclone killed 21 people in Puri, and about 300 people are injured. 12 deaths were reported earlier from other parts of the state. Nearly 3 million are reported to be without electricity. Authorities said that more than 60,000 people were involved in relief operations, a figure that includes volunteers and officials. So apparently they evacuated, millions of people, or 1 million people, over 1 million people, which is a serious undertaking. But they did that, and they saved a lot of lives by doing that. So there, applause to the people of India for getting a lot of people out of the way of this storm. All over the globe, there's going to be in the future a lot of evacuations. So keep those agencies up and running. Keep those wheels churning, those gears churning, because it ain't over, not nearly over. So I have another Way Past What the Fuck article to read. I'm going to read it tomorrow because I want to keep this video kind of short. I have other things to do, and then I'm coming home tomorrow, so I'll read that. But I wanted to read this report before I finish this video. A landmark UN report. Well, let me read the headline. Lost World. UN report shows nature at death's door. This is from May 3rd, 2019. A landmark UN report on the state of nature obtained by AFP makes for grim reading, showing how humanity has wreaked havoc with the environment. The 1,800-page draft document set to be finalized after a biodiversity summit in Paris this week depicts a planet ravaged by rampant overconsumption and drowning in pollution, where hundreds of thousands of species risk extinction. Here is a rundown of the report's key findings, which read like a charge sheet against history's most destructive creatures, ourselves. Pollution. Earth's population has doubled in 50 years. Not only are we living longer than ever before, we are also consuming more. Today, humans extract around 60 billion tons of resources from nature each year, a rise of 80% in just a few decades, and we are leaving our mark in other ways. Since 1980, man-made greenhouse gas emissions have doubled, adding at least 0.7 C to global temperatures. We dump up to 400 million tons of heavy metals, toxic sludge, and other waste into oceans and rivers each year. The report, compiled from more than 15,000 academic papers and research publications, estimates that 75% of land, 40% of oceans, and 50% of rivers manifest severe impacts of degradation from human activity. Inequality. The document, the first of its kind in 15 years, paints a picture of rife inequality, with richer nations consuming vastly more per capita than poorer ones, battling to retain their natural resources. Indeed, per capita demand for materials is 4 times more in high than in low-income economies. In Europe and North America, humans now consume several times the recommended intake of meat, sugar, and fat for optimal health, while 40% of the world's people lack access even to clean drinking water. The inequality gap is huge and widening. GDP per head is already 50 times larger in wealthy nations than in poor ones. Agribusiness threat. Industrial fishing is destroying our oceans, according to the report. It is found that 70,000 industrial fishing vessels operate in at least 55% of the world's high seas. Nearly 3/4 of major marine fish stocks are depleted or exploited to the limit of sustainability, despite efforts from the fishing community to implement quotas and drive down overfishing. On land, the situation looks even bleaker. A third of all land is now given over to agriculture, and 75% of freshwater resources is dedicated to food production. In all, at least a quarter of all greenhouse gas emissions come from land, clearing, crop production, and fertilization, the vast majority of which comes from animal-based food production. Agribusiness expansion has also led to the disappearance of vast swaths of CO2-absorbing forests. Earth has lost 290 million hectares, around 6% of its forests since 1990. Fertilizer use, which degrades the soil's ability to grow plants and suck in greenhouse gases, has risen fourfold in just 13 years in Asia and doubled worldwide in the same period. Extinction. Scientists estimate there to be roughly 8 million species of plants and animals on Earth, though only a fraction of them have so far been identified. The International Union for Conservation of Nature, or IUCN, Red List catalogs some 100,000 species, around a quarter of which are classed as in danger of extinction. An IPBES, Intergovernmental Science Policy Platform on Biodiversity and Ecosystem Services, report goes much further, however, projecting that between 500,000 and 1 million species could face oblivion due to pollution and habitat degradation. Its authors stress that whatever losses humans inflict on nature will in turn be inflicted upon us. Let me read that sentence again. Its authors stress that whatever losses humans inflict on nature will in turn be inflicted upon us. More than 2 billion people still rely on wood as their main energy source, and up to a half of all medicines comes from plants and animals. What's more, 8 billion people rely on food to stay alive. Maybe they should add that in there. What's more, the world's oceans and forests absorb more than half of our greenhouse gas emissions, which are still climbing year on year. At current trends, we risk drastic degradation with drops in contributions critical for societies and uneven distribution of losses, the report states. Basic needs and luxuries depend on nature. And that's about all I have for you in this video. To go back to what I was saying about the comment, Marty's comment, or just to wrap up something I want to say about that. Again, it takes everything that we have to make any kind of difference in this problem, right? Everything that we have: talking, acting, protesting, writing, doing videos, whatever it may be, political action, non-political action, above ground, underground, etc., etc. I think all push and all progress and all awareness raising ideas and tactics are what's needed. We just need to, raise awareness as best we can. Um, you know, don't bash people over the head. One more thing that I would like to say too about actually my actions in spreading this message is that, so I have a somewhat of a platform and a mouthpiece because I'm a musician and people know who I am. As a musician, I have the ear of a lot of people. However, if I alienate all those people by bashing them over the head with climate stuff or scaring the shit out of them with climate stuff all the time, they're going to stop listening, right? They're going to mute me, they're going to unfriend me, they're going to block me, they're going to, you know what I mean? They're going to stop listening. They're not going to look at my, of course, I'm going to get through to some people. The thing is it's not that I don't ever say anything to those people. I do say things to those people. I just pick my spots. I do so sparingly, but with force. So I totally do post about climate change all the time on my personal pages, on my, to the pages that go out to my music fans or my family or whatever. Like they're very, very aware that I'm climate aware and that I'm a climate activist. They know that. But I'm just not going to bash them over the heads to it to the point where they don't want to listen to me anymore. So it doesn't actually help me to discuss it to the point of being disgusting. So just, you have to have tact. Humans are humans. They have emotions. They have turn off switches and turn on switches. You got to know how to turn on the switches for them to listen to you, right? So as far as this channel goes, everybody here knows what's up. So I'm, can speak freely, and everybody here can speak freely. And this is a forum for everybody to pose ideas about, what it is we want to do about climate change, or if we can do anything at all. That's what this is for. Yeah, so carry on, everybody. Do your best. I will be back tomorrow with another video on climate change. Thank you so much for your eyes, your ears, and your conscience. If you would like to support this channel, you can do so at the links below. Until next time, let me get big. Peace.